since January, almost double compared to the same time last year. Reporting live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. A federal judge in New Hampshire has issued a preliminary injunction, blocking the Trump administration from implementing the president's executive order on birthright citizenship.
The move by New Hampshire-based federal judge Joseph LaPlante allows for a class action lawsuit on behalf of all children born to parents in the country illegally or while here on a visa. The Supreme Court's ruling last month severely curbed a single judge's ability to issue nationwide injunctions, but class actions are a key exception to that new rule. Judge LaPlante has stayed his order for a week to allow for a likely appeal by the Trump administration.
That is ABC's Stephen Portnoy reporting. We have more details on the case posted at kslnewsradio.com. We are seeing a concerning number of deadly motorcycle crashes in the state this year. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
In just the last 8 days, we've had several fatal crashes involving motorcycles along the Wasatch Front, and it's really a microcosm of a larger problem we've been seeing over the last year and a half. Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden tells me last year was the deadliest year for motorcyclists in our state in 15 years, and he says this year is on pace to be even worse.
They're definitely overrepresented, and it's something that we just need to take seriously and do something about it.
Roden says there's a variety of reasons as to why these numbers are rising, but one contributor, he says, is failing to yield to riders at intersections. That's why he's pleading with drivers and motorcyclists to double-check your blind spots and be aware of others around you on the road.
We have to work together.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
It's been confirmed the people injured at the Gateway Mall fireworks show were hit by bullets.
Firing a metal trajectory into the air like that, when it comes down, it can come down with a lot of velocity.
Salt Lake City Police Sergeant Miles Southworth tells KSL TV the shots could have easily killed someone. Police are still looking for the gunman and asking for anyone with information to contact them. One of the bullets hit a girl and just missed her lung. She says it was a traumatic event and she still is recovering. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and his Russian counterpart met in Malaysia this week. The meeting comes after the U.S. resumed weapons shipments to Ukraine after the largest Russian attack on Ukraine yet. Rubio was asked if the president would consider new sanctions on Russia.
The president has said that that's an option that's available to him, both under existing authorities, but primarily if the Senate and the House can pass legislation that gives them the opportunity to do that. So we've been engaging with Congress on what that bill would look like.
Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal are pushing a new sanctions bill and hope to get it passed soon. The clock is ticking once again. President Trump this week announced a 50% tariff on copper imports. ABC's Karen Travers says ramping up U.S. copper production could take years.
It could take a very long time, but the president says this is a national security issue, that copper is the second most used material by the Department of Defense. It goes into things like radar systems, semiconductors, aircraft, and ships. So for the president, it's a national security issue. You don't want to rely on foreign countries or foreign supply chains. He said America will once again build a dominant copper industry.
The tariffs are set to go into effect August 1st. Summit County is tackling a different type of recycling, food waste. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Food waste is more of an issue in cities with higher average incomes. That's why Zero Food Waste is partnering with the Park City Community Foundation to keep it out of the Summit County landfill and put the food scraps to better use. They're offering free food waste pickup for the rest of the year. Food that sits and decomposes in a landfill produces dangerous chemicals, like methane gas and bacteria-filled liquids that can potentially contaminate groundwater. Instead, those pizza crusts, old fruits, and other waste can be processed in a controlled environment, where the gas can be used as a renewable energy source and the byproduct can be turned into fertilizer. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
A squirrel is being blamed for a power outage in Taylorsville this morning that left 4,400 people without power. Rocky Mountain Power says a squirrel caused a fuse to blow out and fried a circuit breaker. The power to the area has since been restored. First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. I'm hearing reports of a possible vehicle fire southbound I-15 somewhere between downtown and the I-80-201 junction. So far, I'm not seeing it. Traffic seems to be moving through the area just fine. We'll keep an eye out for it. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Hey there, it's Julie from Logan, where we know how to celebrate summer. First, something super cool when it's really hot. Logan has a new plaza downtown with music and games and a splash pad for kids. Well, I said kids, but hey, we don't judge. Jump in. Free Alive After 5 concerts and movies at the plaza Wednesday and Friday nights. Check out the calendar at ExploreLogan.com. Keep it cool by checking out live tribute concerts like The Monkees, Elton John's The Rocket Man Show, and the Neil Diamond Experience. If theater is more your style, see the musical Bright Star, Broadway's The Prince of Egypt, or the classic comedy The Importance of Being Earnest. After all, Logan is Utah's heart of the arts. Fresh mountain air is only 10 minutes from your hotel. Enjoy cooler temperatures in the canyon while you hike, mountain bike, picnic, fish, or sing yodelay-hee-hoo at the top of your lungs. Everything's cooler in Logan, and we've got a lot going on. Check out the calendar at ExploreLogan.com. ExploreLogan.com.
I am down 50 pounds in 11 weeks, and this program works. The pounds melt off. It's amazing.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal. I was so proud of myself.
Get in the best shape of your life with Soda Weight Loss.
Just 3 weeks in, and pounds are dropping off very quickly. I am down 26 pounds in 3 weeks.
Summer is right around the corner.
Your summer body starts right here because Soda's summer savings are on.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight without drugs, without hunger, and the weight stays off.
I tried other things, came to soda, just amazing.
I started on soda 8 months ago, and I have released 80 pounds now.
Summer savings, stunning results, only at Soda Weight Loss. Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top story, new data shows ICE arrests are on the rise in Utah. A third of those arrests involve people with no criminal record. KSL News Time 12:08. Northrop Grumman is laying off about 100 employees from its launch and missile defense system business in Utah. The company, which often works with the military, is a major employer in the area. They say these layoffs are to better align their workforce with the current demand. To help minimize the fallout, they say they are looking at placing the impacted employees into other positions. Former owners and the Utah Jazz are remembering Frank Layden as an iconic coach and community member.
In a statement from the Miller family, they say Layden was a foundational part of the Utah Jazz and a pillar in the community. Between the Millers, the current owners, and the Utah Jazz organization, they all say they remember his sense of humor and community service. In addition to leading the team to their first 5 playoff appearances, Layden served in several positions over his 20 years with the team. He received several awards for his service, including NBA Coach of the Year and the J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award for his dedication to the community. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Midway officials say they don't want to miss out on the 2034 Olympics like they did in 2002. Midway's mayor, Celeste Johnson, says that they're thinking about changing city code to allow locals to open up their homes to athletes, their families, and support staff during the Olympics. They would be able to choose whether to charge rent or not. And Johnson says they regret missing out on the 2002 Olympics, and they are all in on 2034. A 5-year-old who lives at Hill Air Force Base is just a couple of steps away from being chosen as the National Wildlife Federation's next junior ranger.
Some like foxes, bulls, and other stuff.
Lucas McCarley loves animals and loves going on adventures, and he would love to go on an adventure with wildlife conservationist Jeff Corwin.
What mom doesn't want the opportunity for their kid to just have amazing adventures, and to learn from Jeff Corwin would be so cool.
Lucas's mom, Alicia McCarley, says he's made it through several rounds of competition, and if he gets through today, there will be just 2 more. If he wins, Lucas will get $20,000 and get to be on the cover of Ranger Rick magazine. From outside the Ogden Nature Center, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
You can find a link to vote for Lucas at kslnewsradio.com. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
I did find that vehicle fire. It's southbound I-15, but more at the point of the mountain after 146 South and prior to Temp Highway. Fire crews have just arrived on the scene, and they've blocked off that right lane of travel. And so far, we don't have any delays. You have plenty of room to get around it. The rest of your Salt Lake County freeways look good. A little bit of slowing possible. It's through the work zone southbound I-15 near Burton Lane in Davis County as you go between Kaysville and Farmington. Discover the art of adventure in Cedar City, the gateway to parks, plays, high elevation recreation, ATV and downhill trails, chairlift rides topped off with unique shops and savory bites. Plan at visitcedarcity.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Lots of sunshine today and not nearly as hot. Breezy northwesterly winds at about 15 to 25 miles an hour with a high of 90 degrees. Then tonight, down into the mid-60s under clear skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
And it is a bit cooler than yesterday in downtown Salt Lake City. A lot of sunshine and 86 degrees. Coming up on midday with Maria Chaleos. Yesterday we told you Utah death row inmate Ralph Menzies had his execution date set. Well, today we have reaction from the son of the woman that he murdered. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. If your lights flicker, the breakers trip, or something just doesn't feel safe, if someone is telling you that your electrical panel needs to be replaced and your house needs to be rewired, At Your Service Pros offers full electrical inspections for just $49. You'll get everything checked, your panel, wiring, outlets, and grounding, and they will give you an honest report. If it's safe, they'll tell you if there's an issue, and you'll get an explanation that you can understand, and then they'll help you if you need to fix it without any pressure. You can call At Your Service Pros at 801-YOUR-PRO to schedule your $49 electrical inspection. That's 801-YOUR-PRO, because Utah does deserve better. And in July, you can find out how At Your Service Pros will be providing a chance for you to win a free air conditioning system. Or you can also, they're giving a second chance for you to nominate someone to win an air conditioning system. All you need to do is visit their YouTube channel for restrictions and information on your chance to win, and everyone deserves comfort, especially in this Utah heat. Go to YouTube, search Healthy Water and Air, and watch the AC giveaway video. And you can subscribe and comment. Just write the word hi if you'd like, and that doubles your chances of winning. At Your Service Pros.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Are you struggling with pain in your feet, ankles, knees, hips, or lower back? At the Good Feet store, we recommend having high-quality support in all of your shoes. Our personalized arch support system has helped countless people find relief, like Karen. Here is her Good Feet story.
After I decided my pain was too much, and my doctor actually suggested that I do visit the Good Feet store. Pretty amazing when they put the arch supports in your shoe and you walk around and you realize there's not pain, and you think, how can this arch support in my shoe make my back pain go away? But it works. And how can it make my knee pain go away? It was incredible.
Come to the Good Feet store today and see what we can do for you. Good Feet arch supports are in stock and available in over 300 different styles and sizes.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Stop in today at the Good Feet store.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
there's been a noticeable spike in motorcycle-related crashes and deaths in the Beehive State this year. We're currently on pace to exceed last year's totals, which were already higher than normal. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, ICE arrests are spiking in Utah, and new data shows that about a third of those arrests are of people who don't have any criminal history. Third, traffic and weather, Ricky.
Right lane blocked with fire crews on the scene of a vehicle fire. No smoke, no flames, nothing like that. A lot of precaution here, but this vehicle is over to the right shoulder, southbound I-15 at the point of the mountain. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Not as hot today, a slower climb with the temperatures, a high of 90 with lots of sunshine. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
Lots of sunshine, 86 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A new court battle taking shape over birthright citizenship. A federal judge in New Hampshire issuing a temporary block on the Trump administration moving forward on the president's birthright citizenship executive order in a class action lawsuit not included in a recent Supreme Court decision that limited law issuing nationwide injunctions.
The White House is calling this decision, quote, an obvious and unlawful attempt to circumvent the Supreme Court's clear order against universal relief. Spokesperson Harrison Field says in a statement, the administration will be, quote, fighting vigorously against attempts by district court judges to try to impede the president's policies. The judge in New Hampshire Thursday certified a challenge by the American Civil Liberties Union filed on behalf of pregnant immigrants, 2 immigrant parents, and their infants. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
At least 120 people are now confirmed dead following the July 4th flash floods in Texas Hill Country. Search teams continuing to canvass along the Guadalupe River with more than 160 still missing. Kerr County officials are facing pressure after audio was released showing a first responder raising the alarm for a widespread alert before last week's flooding, with hours-long delays reported. ABC's Trevor Ault is in Kerrville.
The Joint Information Center for the Kerr County flood event responding in part. Our city and county leadership are committed to a transparent and full review of this response. But our entire focus since day one has been rescue and reunification. At an earlier press conference, the sheriff pressed on the delay.
Those questions are going to be answered. I believe those questions need to be answered to the family of the missed loved ones, to the public.
In New Mexico, flash floods triggered by a separate storm this past weekend blamed for 3 deaths in a village that was devastated by wildfires last year. Officials assessing the damage say hundreds of homes were also destroyed. You're listening to ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. The Utah death row inmate is one step closer to execution after the judge signed the death warrant for Ralph Menzies yesterday. Menzies killed Maureen Hunsaker in 1986. Her son Matt says Menzies kidnapped his mom from her job at a Kearns gas station.
This happened in February. She had worked through the Christmas time to try to have some extra money for Christmas and just continued with a little bit of extra money for the household at the time. And her sacrifice of trying to take care of her family ultimately cost her life.
Hunsaker tells inside sources on KSL News Radio that this case has meant years of uncertainty for his family, and he's ready for it to be over.
It's hard. The hardest part for me is knowing that what my grandma went through, having to bury a child of such a brutal nature, and she was valiant that she wanted him executed, and for her very own reasons of what he did to her and what he took from her. And it was hard to know that as her health declined and she got older, that she wasn't going to see this. And we did have conversations about this, but that is one of the hardest parts, is knowing that my grandma won't see justice. And my brother and sister, they have gotten involved. They are attending the hearings. Nothing will replace my mom, but this will ultimately seize a little bit of justice for what he did to her.
At least one appeal is still pending, but as of now, the execution of Ralph Menzies is scheduled for September 5th. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We have crews that have just left the scene, fire crews at least, southbound I-15 from what we believed was a vehicle fire. And for those who are on southbound I-15 rounding the point of the mountain, there has been a little bit of backup No major delays, but you'll see slowing as you're rounding that point by the dirt hill, and though the vehicle that was involved is still over to the right shoulder, UHP is there at the scene, but now out of traffic, the right lane open with the fire crews gone. The rest of your Salt Lake County freeways are looking good, slowing due to road work southbound I-15. This is as you go from Kaysville to Farmington. Traffic's rough, but your parking lot doesn't have to be. GoPave Utah keeps things smooth with expert asphalt and asphalt maintenance at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Your KSL 7-day forecast shows hot, dry conditions sticking around, but we get a cool down for today and tomorrow, a high of 90 degrees as opposed to the triple digits. Lots of sunshine, a little breezy. Tonight down into the mid-60s, low 90s again for Friday. And then this weekend, low to mid-90s Saturday, but we're inching towards the upper 90s by Sunday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine each day. Lows stay in the 60s. Next week, we jump up to those highs in the upper 90s, mostly sunny with lows in the low 70s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
Sunny and 84 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. The Dow rallying at this hour. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Matthew Wappett, Executive Director of the Institute for Disability Research Policy and Practice, or the IDRPP, at Utah State University. Did you know that 1 in 4 Utahns have a disability? Think about that. Your neighbor, your colleagues, your family. At some point, disability affects everyone. The USU IDRPP is on the front lines, driving change right here in Utah and across the nation for people with disabilities. For over 50 years, IDRPP has been Utah's University Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities, generating vital research that shapes effective policies and delivers real-world solutions. From groundbreaking research to evidence-based training, the IDRPP empowers individuals with disabilities, their families, and the professionals who support them. We're making our communities more accessible and welcoming for everyone. Find out more at idrpp.usu.edu.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text BOSS to 321321. That's BOSS to 321321. BOSS to 321321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
KSL News Time, 1224. Republicans are hoping to build on or at least preserve their narrow lead in the House, and they're looking to Texas to get it done in the midterm elections. ABC's Jim Ryan is there.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has already called a special legislative session for next month to deal with matters left over from the just-ended regular session. Given the disaster in the Hill Country, he's put flood control measures on the agenda. And while Texas isn't scheduled to redraw its congressional districts until 2030, Abbott has added redistricting to lawmakers' plate with an eye toward solidifying Republican districts. Democrats are calling it gerrymandering. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Watching Utah's money, we are now starting to see more prices go up because of tariffs. CNN reports toy prices have gone up by nearly 4% since the start of the year. Experts say clothes and shoe prices have gone up nearly 2% in just the last month. More homeowners are putting off house repairs because of economic uncertainty. USA Today reports nearly a third of homeowners say they might wait a year or two before committing to upgrades and repairs. Many people are hoping for prices to go down before doing any repairs on their homes. Streaming service Max has officially changed its name back to HBO Max. CNN reports the company rolled out the new old name yesterday after just 2 years as Max. The change comes a month after Warner Brothers Discovery decided to split into two companies, with one focused on the streaming service and movie studio and the other focused on its TV networks. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 313 points, nearly 0.75%, sitting at 44,773. The S&P is up by 25 points. The NASDAQ up by 33 points. It's the most anyone's ever paid for a handbag. ABC's Sherry Preston has more on the record-breaking sale of the original Birkin bag and the story behind it.
In 1984, London-born star Jane Birkin was sitting on a plane next to the head of fashion house Hermes when she accidentally spilled some things from her purse. She asked why Birkin didn't make a bigger bag. So they grabbed an air sickness bag and began sketching a design for what would become the original Birkin bag. More than 40 years later, that original bag sold at auction in Paris for $8.2 million. The commercialized version of the original bag has become one of the world's most exclusive luxury items with a years-long waiting list. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
You've built the dream, the home, the lifestyle, the legacy. Now it's time your windows and doors reflect that same $1 million standard. Whether you're designing a stunning custom home or upgrading the one you've loved for years, Peach Doors and Windows is here to bring that vision to life with precision, style, and craftsmanship.
The Peach specialty? High-end custom windows and doors that don't just fit your space, they elevate it. From sleek modern lines to timeless elegant finishes, they offer the kinds of craftsmanship that truly complements a $1 million space. And with Peach, the process is easy. No pressure, no gimmicks, just knowledgeable experts helping you find solutions to turn your someday project into right now.
Visit their spacious showroom, get inspired, and create something beautiful together. Peach Doors and Windows for the $1 million home you live in and the $1 million feeling you deserve. Visit peachdoorsandwindows.com or call 801-566-1255 today.
That's Peach Windows and Doors. Give them a call, 801-566-1255.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Let's get the latest from Ricky Meese.
The single vehicle left over from an earlier vehicle fire is still right there parked on southbound I-15 at the point of the mountain, but out of traffic on the shoulder. So traffic is moving through the area just fine once again. Salt Lake County freeways seeing good speeds. We do have slowing due to road work in Davis County again this afternoon near Burton Lane. This is southbound I-15 as you go from the Kaysville Ponds towards Park Lane by Lagoon. All tickets are on sale now, so claim your spot and start planning your perfect Park City night. Details at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures not quite as hot as they have been, and we'll get this little cool down going for a couple of days. Highs today in the low 90s, mostly sunny, and then you'll really notice the cool down tonight or when you wake up tomorrow morning with lows in the mid 60s. And for your Friday, more sunshine, 91. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, a lot of sunshine and 84 degrees. Checking some of the other temperatures in the area, Ogden's at 85, 87 in Provo. And then if we look down south at St. George, 98 degrees.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Chaleos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 1230. KSL's top story this hour. The Salt Lake City Police Department has 16 brand new officers, and they are now a step closer to being back to fully staffed.
And now for the last time, Class 175, attention, dismissed.
Today, 16 recruits graduated the academy, officially becoming officers in front of family and friends. Cade Palmer was one of them.
A lot of stuff goes on here, and I wanted to be part of this policing community.
Salt Lake City Deputy Police Chief Bill Manzanares, who's been with the department for 18 years, tells me with this class, they're now just under 20 officers away from being fully staffed.
I don't know when the last time we were fully staffed. We've been close a few times.
The department's also undergoing a lot of change as is. Manzanares is actually one of 3 newly appointed deputy chiefs for the department, and this coming just a few months after getting a new police chief. But with these new officers and the changes, Manzanares tells me they feel good about the future.
The feeling in the police department right now is very optimistic and hopeful for the future, and we're just excited moving forward.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. Sources say half a dozen members of the U.S. Secret Service have been disciplined in the months following an assassination attempt on Donald Trump while he was campaigning for the presidency. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has details.
The 6 Secret Service personnel who've been disciplined range from line agents to supervisors. Sources say the suspensions lasted between 10 and 42 days. The Homeland Security Secretary told Fox News President Trump has been briefed on changes to Secret Service protocols, including new arrangements for how the agency coordinates with local law enforcement. The current Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, previously served as the leader of Trump's detail, and he shielded him immediately after last year's shooting in Butler.
Sunday marks the passing of a year since a gunman tried to assassinate President Trump at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. Other national stories KSL is following. City and county officials in Kirk County, Texas say the search for over 160 people still missing from last week's floods is methodical and involves hundreds of federal, state, and local responders. Patrick Turk from the nonprofit called Texar says it's a difficult search operation because the area covers 48 miles with big depths and a lot of debris.
The amount of devastation, the news cameras just don't even do it justice. It is an unbelievable area of destruction and debris piles that are larger than you can even imagine.
At least 120 deaths have been confirmed by authorities. A community in New Mexico is still trying to clean up and recover from last weekend's deadly flash flooding there as it prepares for a new flood threat. Deputy Village Manager Michael Martinez says the damage is far more extensive than they realized.
Initially, we gave numbers of anywhere between 30 to 50 homes that had been impacted. Based on last night's and yesterday's assessments, along with the phone calls that we're receiving for sheltering or for possible a lack of homes, we're looking now to 200 up to 400 homes that have been damaged.
At least 3 people, including 2 kids, were killed in the flooding. There's some haze floating around the air in the Salt Lake Valley today. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff explains why.
So I think actually what we're seeing is a little bit of a combination of both smoke and dust.
Meteorologist Sam Weber with the National Weather Service says that smoke is higher up in the atmosphere.
A few wildfires going on in northern California and southern Oregon right now that have been pretty productive with smoke that have wafted some smoke into the higher elevations of the atmosphere.
He says down closer to the ground is some dust that was kicked up by a small storm that came through overnight. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Hot and dry conditions continue making firefighting tough across southern Utah, but crews have made some progress against the France Canyon fire. The fire near Bryce Canyon National Park is nearly 35,000 acres, but fire officials say it's now 90% contained. Meanwhile, they are also making headway against the Forsyth fire in Pine Valley. It's currently just shy of 15,000 acres, but more than 50% contained. Parks in Kaysville have been targeted by vandals, causing the city to spend thousands in repairs and closing facilities. In the past 2 weeks, lights have been shattered, fences have been broken, and toilets have been blown up with fireworks.
It's just fun to be in the parks, and that kind of stuff ruins it.
Brian White organizes baseball tournaments at the park and tells KSL-TV the park is usually busy. City is investigating who is responsible for the vandalism, and they are asking anyone who might have information to contact Kaysville Police. The size of the new Davis County Animal Shelter may need to be built smaller because of construction expenses. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has details.
The original 32,000 square foot building was expected to cost $14 million. But is already $2 million over budget without a single brick being laid. KSL.com spoke to the county's facility director, Lane Rose, who says the price tag to build the new shelter has increased significantly since it was approved due to tariffs. Rose says right now they will have to leave some of the building as just a shell, maybe some framing, but no drywall. Officials say the current Davis County Animal Shelter is too small and may require a second tax hike to cover the increased costs for the new one. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
First look traffic. Let's check in with Ricky Meese.
Back to a delay-free drive on all the Valley freeways in Salt Lake County. Still some slowing due to road work on southbound I-15 in Davis County, going from Kaysville to Farmington. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
You bought a house, or maybe you're building one, but it just isn't feeling like home. Not yet. AMC Building Materials has this undeniable knack for transforming a house into a home, your home. How do they do that? They combine years of exceptional kitchen and bath creations with your ideas. In fact, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority. You know what you want. You know it's not going to be cookie cutter, and this is exactly where AMC shines. AMC delivers exceptional quality, bold-style kitchen and bath designs, along with their exceptional value and a timeline you'll love. Most projects are complete by the elite AMC professional installers in under 10 days. Immerse yourself in the beauty, function, and feel in person at the AMC Building Materials showroom in Salt Lake City. Get directions and schedule your free estimate at amckitchenslc.org. AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. amckitchenslc.org.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hospitals urgently need you today. Summer accidents happen from hiking, boating, blading, and boarding. Fortunately, ARUP's always there. Help someone in need by visiting utahblood.org.
Thank you for joining us today for Midday. Recapping our top story this half hour, Salt Lake City has just sworn in 16 new officers, which they say will go a long way to help with staffing issues. KSL News Time, 12:38. Utah's teachers are getting ready for the school year, but they have some big concerns. KSL News Radio's Virl Johansson reports.
Cohen Castaneda teaches in the Jordan School District. He tells me he's worried about what would happen if ICE comes to his school. Castaneda and other teachers at his school have decided they will not let ICE into their classrooms.
It's a weird reality that we're living in where we don't really know what to do in the case of what's going to cost us our job and then what's going to cost us our student. So even if I lose my job, will a student be never heard from again?
Other teachers echoed Castaneda's concerns, saying ICE fears led some students to stop coming to school last year, and it could happen again this year. Virl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
OpenAI will likely be releasing a browser soon that will directly challenge Google Chrome. Sources tell Reuters that the browser will answer questions similarly to ChatGPT, but it can also do tedious tasks for you like book a hotel, a flight, or fill out any of the endless forms on a job application. Utah's Office of AI Director Zach Boyd says OpenAI might be excited to get a piece of the ad revenue pie from Google, but the true value is in information.
If I were in OpenAI's offices, I would be seeing the browser as a means to an end, and that end is acquiring a giant corpus of computer use data to make the agents really capable.
He says this will put OpenAI above other AI companies training their model on how to interact with people in the real life, but it might raise privacy concerns for some. It's about to be easier and quicker to access Zion National Park.
Tokerville Parkway will have fewer stops than any other road that leads to the park.
Really, this will be the fastest method to get to I-15, either when headed northbound on I-15 or southbound on I-15.
The parkway is accessible after taking the Tokerville exit. City Manager Ben Billingsley says it's also safer for their small town because tourist traffic will no longer have to move through their residential neighborhoods. He says this has been an idea since the 60s, and they're excited that it's finally ready to go. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
A lavender field in Millville, Utah draws visitors from all over, and this weekend there is a special opportunity for you to visit. The annual Lavender Festival will be held Friday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. There will be reportedly vendors, live music, a yodeler, and more. Traffic and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. What's happening on the roads, Ricky?
I thought we had an accident in Weber County on Highway 89, Harrison Boulevard near 12th Street, maybe at 20th. But I looked through the cameras. I'm not seeing anything there. Maybe it's been moved out of traffic or just not within the view of the camera. But keep an eye out in case we do have emergency vehicles arriving. On all of the Valley freeways, no problems reported. We do have road work, which may cause you a little bit of slowing, and we're probably used to this by now if you're living in Davis County on southbound I-15, trying to get from Kaysville to Farmington. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures topping out in the low 90s this afternoon, about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday, mostly sunny, a beautiful day, and we will have breezy conditions again, but hopefully that's cooling you off in the shade. For tonight, mainly clear skies down into the mid-60s, and then tomorrow, more sunshine, a high of 91. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
It's nice to be in the 80s, sunny and 84 degrees right now in Salt Lake City. Coming up on midday, a local immigration attorney says ICE is casting too wide a net, and it's causing a lot of fear in the immigrant community. We'll hear what he has to say. That's next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. For years now, I've been telling you about Connecticut soft water systems that use 2/3 less salt than the others. But I've never told you exactly how they do that. Well, there are several ways, so consider this as part one in a series. Most of the softeners out there use a finicky, hard-to-adjust computer to guesstimate when to cycle, and it errs on the side of cycling too often, which means it'll burn through way too much salt way too soon. Connecticut is different. It has an all-mechanical system that measures the water precisely. No computer, no guesstimating, so it cycles only when needed. The result? Connecticut delivers perfectly quality soft water 24/7 using minimal salt. So why not save your lower back from carrying the 3 bags of salt when all you need is 1? Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake. Call them now, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com and tell them Doug sent you.
KSL News Time, 1245. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
the Salt Lake City Police Department's getting more than a dozen new officers from the academy and are now less than 20 officers away from finally getting back to fully staffed. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the new animal shelter in Davis County is already $2 million over budget before construction has even begun. They may have to build a smaller shelter or request a tax hike to make up the difference. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Salt Lake County Freeway traffic rolling along and looking good. No problems there. We do have that spot of slowing southbound I-15 in the work zone near Burton Lane in Davis County. Otherwise, the rest of I-15 looking good in Davis, Weber, and Utah counties. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The dry conditions will continue, but at least we're getting some relief from the heat. High temperatures for today and tomorrow, only in the upper 80s and low 90s. Plenty of sunshine. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
Sunny and 84 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Texas, the death toll climbing once again, with 120 deaths blamed on the catastrophic flooding last week. 96 of them in hard-hit Kerr County are missing. Lauren Tyler was on vacation in Hunt, Texas when the flash flooding came rushing through. She and her family, though, were on higher ground. She still spoke about the trauma of the floods.
We saw mattresses 30 feet up in trees. We saw the American flag everywhere because it was the 4th of July. We were all celebrating.
Tyler has now written a song about the event. President Trump vowing to impose 50% tariffs on copper imports starting August 1st. It would match tariffs already on steel and aluminum imports. The president wants to boost copper production, he says, in the U.S. Analysts say that could take years. Svetlana Dali, the woman convicted of being a stowaway on a JFK to Paris flight in 2024, sentenced today to time served or 7 months. A Brooklyn judge agreed with prosecutors' recommendation that Dali had served time warranted for the crime. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. New data from ICE that was recently obtained by researchers at UC Berkeley shows the ICE arrests in Utah have more than doubled since President Trump took office. About a third of them have no criminal history or pending charges. Chris Keene is an immigration lawyer with Keene Law Firm in Orem, and he spoke with KSL TV's Jody Reynosa about how there's a lot of fear about being detained, even for those who are in the country legally.
So many people that have legal status, they might be a U.S. citizen or they may have a green card, and they're terrified. They're terrified that ICE will detain them. They've heard stories on the news where a U.S. citizen might get caught in an ICE raid or a resident might get arrested. And I think that they're fearful that the laws won't even be followed by the administration and that they will be caught up in ICE's wide net. And ICE is definitely casting a wider net than it did under the Biden administration. It's casting a very wide net that are capturing people that shouldn't be caught. And it's just really unfortunate. And the fear and the worry that it's causing is just, it's unmanageable, and I don't think it's appropriate.
He recommends reaching out to him or another immigration attorney to make sure that your documentation is in order.
What advice are we giving? Well, each case is so different. We have to see, what do you qualify for? Should you really be worried? And some people probably should be worried if they're walking around and they have a deportation order. Under the Biden administration, they really didn't have to worry if they were not a priority. But those priorities that were set in place by the prior administration were thrown out the window right when the new president took office. And so people that were not a priority, I'm talking about asylees, applicants for some type of process. I'm talking about maybe undocumented mothers, single mothers of small children. Now they are being captured in the net of ICE, and they're being called in and being told, get some travel plans in place because you're going to have to leave. We're sorry, but that's our job, is what ICE is telling them, is to get people with a deportation order removed from the country. So you come back with a travel plan, and it's very stressful for them. If there's a good plan for you to file a form, to file a paperwork, to file for a particular benefit, talk to a lawyer and get that done. And then you can at least show ICE that you have something pending.
Keene says he's had clients who have been wrongly detained, even with U.S. citizenship, and he said he's been able to get them released quickly within a day or two after being taken into custody. Traffic and weather is brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion, and here's Ricky Meese.
Seeing a little bit of bunched up, busy, and slower traffic. Definitely not delays, but slower. Northbound I-15 in Murray, approaching and passing 4500 South. Not really sure what may be causing that, but just be aware of that. It's nothing to be real concerned about until we get something reported and official. But right now, overall Valley Freeway traffic not bad at all. We do have our work zone causing slowdown southbound I-15 in Davis County going from Kaysville to Farmington. That's pretty typical. Our main secondaries are also looking good at this time with no other problems. Advanced Window Products, factory direct affordable windows. Call today, they're on their way. Financing available. Save now, pay later. AdvancedWindows.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Your KSL 7-day forecast for this afternoon, 91. Tonight, down to 65, a lot cooler than it was last night. And then for your Friday, a high of 91 degrees, lots of sunshine, lows again in the mid-60s. This weekend, 93 Saturday, and then a jump in temperature Sunday with a high of 97. Going into next week, highs in the upper 90s each day, mostly sunny skies, lows in the upper 60s and low 70s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
And it's sunny and 84 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. And a quick check of the markets. Markets in really good shape today. All of the major indices are up at this hour. A complete update of your money news is coming up next. If this is the summer that you have committed to yourself to do something good for yourself, like lose weight, get in shape, improve your health, then I want to tell you about something that has worked for me, and it's Salt Lake City Fat Loss. And before I tried this program, I really tried to just basically run off the pounds. And I'll tell you, it takes a lot of running to lose weight. So with this program, there were no rigorous workouts. And the program eliminated my frustration by taking the pounds off very quickly. This plan uses just a simple combination of foods to burn off that stored belly fat. It works fast. Again, I've lost more than 40 pounds on the program. It resets your metabolism. There are no injections or surgeries. It's just a simple combination of foods, and they have a great app. You're going to love it. It keeps you accountable, and it gives you daily ideas of how to be successful. Right now, you can save $200. You can find out more with a free virtual consultation at slcfatloss.com, or you can call them 801-450-1882. Wouldn't it be great to lose up to a pound per day? That's what many of their clients lose. Just go to slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Trio Senior Living, older adults aren't slowing down. They're just getting started. The Prime Fit Wellness Program expands wellness beyond the gym into every aspect of community life. Whatever your goals, the team at Trio Senior Living has got your back, so you can put your best foot forward. Call 801-475-4004 today to schedule your personal visit.
Five guys walk into a JCW's and order burgers. A pastrami, a mushroom Swiss, a guacamole bacon, a hickory barbecue, a ribeye steak, 2 onion rings, 3 french fries, a strawberry, mint, peanut butter, chocolate, and marshmallow shake, and and not one left a tip. Because at JCW's, we don't ask for it. We think the price you see should be the price you pay. And all that, would you like to leave a tip stuff, is for the birds. JCW's. Quality and a lot of it. Open in American Fork, Lehigh, Provo, South Jordan, and Harriman.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time 12:55. Watching Utah's money. More U.S. warehouse space is empty now than at any other time in the last 11 years. Wall Street Journal reports average warehouse vacancy rates went up by more than 7% in the second quarter, marking the first time the vacancy rate has passed 7% since 2014. The owners of Ferrero Rocher and Nutella looking to buy Kellogg. Wall Street Journal reports Ferrero is close to a $3 billion deal to buy the cereal company. The deal could be finalized as soon as this week. People can start buying McDonald's snack wrap again starting today. USA Today reports the fast food chain is bringing back the wrap after pulling it off the menu nearly 10 years ago. McDonald's says they are offering two versions of the snack wrap. One is spicy and the other is ranch-centered. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 233 points. That's about 0.5%, sitting at 44,691. The S&P is up by 20 points, and the NASDAQ, it's up by 32 points.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
I am not a rich woman, but I feel like a rich woman every time I go in my closet. The best, hands down, present I've ever received was my husband secretly redid my closet with Closets by Design. So now when I go in there aren't all these shoes just junked on the floor. They're neatly sitting on their shelves. And my necklaces are hanging on their individual hooks, and earrings are in their little squares in this soft drawer that pulls out. It's just gorgeous. In fact, he saw how much I loved it. He had Closets by Design redo the garage. So now all the stuff, the tools, the toys, the junk is all in cabinets. When you open our garage door, you see cars. That's it. It's amazing. The things that Closets by Design can do, and it's going to save you money right now because you get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off with 18-month financing. You can do so much with your closet, much more than you realize, with this wonderful Utah company, Closets by Design. Find out more at 1-800-BY-DESIGN or closetsbydesign.com.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word INBOX to 57500. That's INBOX to 57500.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. What's happening, Ricky?
Well, something was definitely slowing down traffic northbound I-15 in Murray, not far from 4500 South. And UHP just concluded a freeway slowdown in order to remove debris off the road. And we still have a little bit of backup and slower speeds left over from that. But when the road is cleared, traffic will be moving right along once again. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cyprus Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypruscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A little bit cooler today, but it looks like we will still break the 90-degree mark with a high of 90, 91 tomorrow, then back up to 97 degrees by Sunday. 86 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's time to turn off the hose. Some Utah cities are now facing water restrictions due to low supplies, and it's a little earlier than normal.
Water supply really varies throughout the region that you're in. So some areas are having a harder time than others, but saving water takes all of us, all sectors from government and agriculture to residential.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, July 10th. It's midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. Coming up, the warnings from state officials if we don't limit our water usage now. Also this hour,
definitely overrepresented, and it's something that we just need to take seriously and do something about it.
Motorcycle deaths are on the rise in Utah, and we are on track to beat a record number of deaths. What all drivers need to do to turn that around coming up. But first, our top stories. New ICE data shows a rise in arrests of non-criminal immigrants in Utah, and attorneys say even longtime residents with no record are being detained. Immigration lawyer Chris Keene told KSL-TV that he has spoken with ICE officials directly, and while many families are scared, agents say that they are simply following orders.
What ICE officials have told me is they're just doing their jobs, and for individuals that don't have a right to stay here, their job is to enforce the removal of those people.
ICE has arrested nearly 1,400 people in Utah since January, almost double compared to the same time last year. Our top national story this hour, a federal judge in New Hampshire has blocked the Trump administration from enforcing its executive order on birthright citizenship. ABC's Karen Travers has the latest reaction from the White House.
The White House is calling this decision, quote, an obvious and unlawful attempt to circumvent the Supreme Court's clear order against universal relief. Spokesperson Harrison Field says in a statement, the administration will be, quote, fighting vigorously against attempts by district court judges to try to impede the president's policies. The judge in New Hampshire Thursday certified a challenge by the American Civil Liberties Union, filed on behalf of pregnant immigrants, 2 immigrant parents, and their infants. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
The search continues in Kerr County, Texas. More than 160 people are still missing after last week's floods. Patrick Turk is a first responder nonprofit at a nonprofit called Texar, and he explains why the search is taking as long as it is and what conditions responders are under.
So the search area is roughly 48 miles of river from where the original flood began to Canyon Lake. Is roughly 48 miles. So that's an immense area to cover.
The floods are now the deadliest from inland flooding in the U.S. since 1976. A portion of an industrial tunnel collapsed in Los Angeles overnight, trapping 31 construction workers. All of them survived. ABC's David Gonzalez has more from L.A.
L.A. Mayor Karen Bass is praising the operation, and she says that a major tragedy could have been avoided. Luckily, also officials tell us that all the highly skilled training that these crews went through also helped to keep them safe.
Firefighters say workers had to climb over 12 to 15 feet of fallen dirt and debris to reach the area where the first responders were waiting to take them back to the opening. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 260 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 44,718. S&P is up by 22, and the Nasdaq is up by 35 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. And Ricky Meese, what's happening on the roads?
The backup that we had northbound I-15 from the south interchange to 45th South in Murray, where we had debris on the road, it's still a little busy and slow there. It is starting to ease. We also have crews wrapping up a crash downtown at Main Street and 8th South. Take UTA instead of driving and actually enjoy your ride. Try UTA to see the difference. Plan your trip at rideuta.com or on the Transit app. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A lot of sunshine in the forecast for the next 7 days and not a chance of rain in the 7-day forecast. Today will be the coolest with a high of 90, but we'll be up to 99 degrees by next Wednesday. 86 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey there, it's Julie from Logan, where we know how to celebrate summer. First, something super cool when it's really hot. Logan has a new plaza downtown with music and games and a splash pad for kids. Well, I said kids, but hey, we don't judge. Jump in. Free Alive After 5 concerts and movies at the plaza Wednesday and Friday nights. Check out the calendar at ExploreLogan.com. Keep it cool by checking out live tribute concerts like The Monkees, Elton John's The Rocket Man Show, and the Neil Diamond Experience. If theater is more your style, see the musical Bright Star, Broadway's The Prince of Egypt, or the classic comedy The Importance of Being Earnest. After all, Logan is Utah's heart of the arts. Fresh mountain air is only 10 minutes from your hotel. Enjoy cooler temperatures in the canyon while you hike, mountain bike, picnic, fish, or sing yodelay-hee-hoo at the top of your lungs. Everything's cooler in Logan, and we've got a lot going on. Check out the calendar at ExploreLogan.com. ExploreLogan.com.
Today is not as hot as it was yesterday, but it's still pretty dry. A few sprinkles last night in some places across the state, but not enough to really make a difference. That means for many Utahns, it's getting time to turn off the hose. Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. Today, water restrictions are coming to several central and southern Utah towns, and it could be a sign of what's to come in northern Utah. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more on the restrictions going to effect today in Beaver.
Beaver City is now telling their residents no more watering your lawns during the hottest hours of the day when it's windy or more than twice a week through October. This comes as they're dealing with what they say is extremely short water supply. KSL.com reports normally these are the kinds of rules they'd implement closer to fall, but below normal snowpack and faster than normal runoff have taken a toll on the water supply. The drought isn't doing the situation any justice either. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, about a third of Beaver County is now in severe drought, and today more than 99% of the entire state is in drought status for the first time since December of 2022. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Now, what about us here in northern Utah? It's still pretty early in the summer, so are we looking towards more restrictions sooner than normal? I spoke with Shelby Cooley, Water Conservation Manager for the state of Utah, to get her take. We hear today that Beaver is implementing water restrictions due to low supply, and I'm wondering if that's a sign of things to come for the rest of us. What should we be thinking about?
Yeah, great question. Water supply really varies throughout the region that you're in. So some areas are having a harder time than others, but saving water takes all of us, all sectors from government and agriculture to residential. So it's hard to tell if that is a precursor for the rest of us just because water supply is so regional depending on where you're at.
Right. Can you give us an update on the drought situation, though, and what might be happening?
Yeah, so our state is all in drought right now. And that is something that we don't like to see. You know, obviously, we have had a pretty dry summer, and some areas of the state received a pretty dismal snowpack this past year. So that's where we're currently at.
You said that this takes all of us. So what are some things we should be thinking about right now? Areas maybe where we are wasting water and we aren't even aware of it.
Yeah, so the first recommendation is just to pay attention to any restrictions in your area, follow what information your city is putting out and make sure to follow those. There are some easy things you can do, like adjusting your sprinklers. About 60% of water in our cities is used outdoors on our landscape, and so our biggest potential to save is outdoors. So a lot of these recommendations are outdoors, but adjusting your sprinklers, watering less and when it's the coolest part of the day, raising your lawnmower blades to 3 to 4 inches in height can help shade your grass roots and help decrease evaporation. Also, just prioritizing your watering. So making sure that you're watering trees and shrubs first, followed by your perennials, annuals, and grass last. Not watering when it's windy or rainy. If you receive significant rain, that's a great time to skip. And then we also have some rebates and incentives for smart controllers and landscape incentives for replacing grass with lower water landscaping.
Tell us how people can take advantage of some of those rebates.
Yeah, so the best place to go is slowtheflow.org. If you click on the rebates tab, you're able to plug in the city that you live, and it will show you all of the rebates and incentives available in your area. One thing is if you are participating in the Landscape Incentives Program, make sure you have a site visit and are approved for the program before removing or killing your grass. Once you receive approval, now is a great time to solarize your lawn or get that grass removed and plan for planting in the fall when it's a little bit cooler.
Shelby, what is the biggest mistake people make when it comes to wasting water?
That's a really good question. Biggest mistake people make, I think it's just the disconnect of not realizing how much water is used outdoors and overwatering their lawns. Lawns are really resilient and a lot of times don't need any more than about 3 days a week of watering during the heat of the summer. And so overwatering lawns is a big potential for savings.
We've been talking about individuals, but how are you hoping that maybe cities and municipalities actually conserve water as well?
So I saw Beaver City put out a really good notice to their water users with some good tips that people can do. Another thing that cities are doing, if they have water waste ordinances, that can be really helpful to cut down on water waste. Some cities implement watering restrictions that limit the days that you can water and also which days you can water depending on address as well as the timing. And so it's really important to pay attention to the timing of watering for your specific address or location because it helps your city manage the water supply so you don't have everybody running their sprinklers all at the same time and depleting those supplies all at once. There's also, the governor has a Build Here initiative with the goal of having 90% of cities adopt water efficiency standards for new construction by 2029. And so cities that adopt qualifying ordinances actually become eligible for the Landscape Incentive Program, so residents can receive money for replacing grass with lower water landscaping. So ordinance is a big thing. Ordinances are a big thing. Also, just following what your city restrictions are with the timing of watering.
Any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, we really appreciate everything that Utahns have been doing. We've seen millions of gallons of water saved over the past couple of years from landscape incentives, from participating in rebate and incentive programs, and really appreciate everything that we're doing. It takes all of us. And so to be connected with rebates and incentives, visit slowtheflow.org. And again, I would just pay attention to any water restrictions in your area and make sure you're doing your part as a citizen to protect our water.
Shelby, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks so much, Maria.
You can get more tips on conserving water by visiting conservewater.utah.gov. Remember, it takes all of us, though. It's a group effort, so We all need to pitch in. In other news, the air outside looking a little hazy today across northern Utah. You will recall yesterday we asked KSL meteorologist Kristen Van Dyke about the air quality, and it wasn't too bad. Well, except for the ozone pollution. But today there's certainly more particulate matter in the air, and you can certainly see it. In fact, the Utah Division of Air Quality says right now the air quality is in the moderate range. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff spoke to meteorologist Sam Weber with the National Weather Service to find out why.
What we're seeing right now, we had a cold front push in during the overnight hours, and it's really kicked up some winds and ejected some new air into northern Utah from what we've seen over the past several days. So I think actually what we're seeing is a little bit of a combination of both smoke and dust. There's a few wildfires going on in northern California and southern Oregon right now that have been pretty productive with smoke, that have wafted some smoke into the higher elevations of the atmosphere and likely moved over northern Utah. But I think we're also seeing a little bit of dust kicked up from the surface here in the morning hours especially. It's what kind of noticed on my drive in is that things are looking pretty hazy down low. And so I think what we're seeing in the lower elevations at the very least is a little bit of dust, but up high might be some smoke as well. So it seems to be a combination of the two things right now.
Will these conditions linger into the weekend? It's supposed to be a little cooler, so you might want to spend some extra time outside. Weber says things should start to get better by tonight.
Yeah, hard to say what's going to happen with that. Things are going to become a little bit more stable as we get into the weekend, as we kind of have high pressure moving in. The good news is that we'll keep winds overhead a little bit elevated and keeping them out of the north. So it should start to blow whatever's up to our north out of the area. It's really dependent on what's going to happen to the stuff down low, whether or not that's going to continue to fester. I would say at least for the next couple of days, maybe I'd expect a little bit of dust to linger in the lower levels. But by the time we get winds to drop off later this evening, I'd expect it kind of to recollect down on the ground. So I don't expect it to persist for many days, but maybe for another day or so. I even would be surprised if it sticks around through tomorrow.
Weber says it's almost all but guaranteed that we will see similar conditions as the summer goes on. It's just how things work around here.
Oftentimes when we have cold fronts that move through, and cold front is a very relative term right now. Anytime we have cold fronts move through during the summertime, they can often, and even the wintertime, they can often kick up a lot of dust and whatever else is lingering in the lower environment and kick it up into the air. So it's not uncommon to see some haze after a cold front comes through the region, especially in the morning time. It's much more noticeable. But it's not uncommon, and usually if it's dust, the dust will settle, and the issues do clear up in the following days. But if it's smoke, smoke will tend to linger a little bit longer, so long as the predominant wind direction is coming from wherever that smoke source is from. We will continue to see the smoke in the area. And as of right now, we do have some fires in northern California and southern Oregon, and kind of maintaining this west to northwest flow in the upper atmosphere will help to bring some of that smoke into this region. So would anticipate at least maybe seeing some elevated smoke as we head into the weekend here, but hoping things will start to clear out as we change our wind directions moving into Saturday and Sunday.
Make sure you download the KSL weather app to get the latest updates on air quality and all your other weather needs. New records obtained by ABC News show that the first warnings in the devastating Texas floods came roughly an hour and a half after they were requested by local officials. More on that in just a few minutes. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We do have a little bit of slowdown with the road work southbound I-15 near Burton Lane in Davis County as you're going from Kaysville into Farmington. But the rest of the Valley freeways seeing a quiet quick drive with good speeds and no other problems. Smith's Pharmacy welcomes Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. You can transfer prescriptions at smithsfoodanddrug.com/pay or update. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you're a medical, wellness, or aesthetics practice owner who wants to enhance your profits and practice valuation while reducing your workload, this is a message you'll want to hear. The Hamlin Business Institute is holding the most transformative business class you'll ever take on Friday, August 1st in Salt Lake City. As a practice owner, this class can literally change your life and revolutionize your practice. With a 5-star Google review rating and certification by the DOPL for select professions, this class is meticulously crafted to meet your specific needs. Their previous participants rave about their experience. A staggering 96% are interested in additional classes from Hamlin Business Institute. 100% would recommend this class, and more than 3/4 said it was the most beneficial continuing education class they have ever taken. Sign up before July 20th and get a 40% discount with the code BUSINESS at HamlinBusinessInstitute.com. That's code BUSINESS at HamlinBusinessInstitute.com. Code BUSINESS at HamlinBusinessInstitute.com.
I am down 50 pounds in 11 weeks, and this program works. The pounds melt off. It's amazing.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal. I was so proud of myself.
Get in the best shape of your life with Soda Weight Loss.
Just 3 weeks in, and pounds are dropping off very quickly. I am down 26 pounds in 3 weeks.
Summer is right around the corner.
Your summer body starts right here because Soda's summer savings are on.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight without drugs, without hunger, and the weight stays off.
I tried other things, came to soda, just amazing.
I started on soda 8 months ago, and I have released 80 pounds now.
Summer savings, stunning results, only at Soda Weight Loss. Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want you to know that it's the little things that count. Any remodeler can say they treat customers right when it comes to siding, gutters, windows, and exteriors. It's hard to know for sure. If a contractor uses cheap generic nails instead of super grippy ridge shaft nails for your siding, would you even know? If they use cheap $4 caulk to install your new windows instead of paying $9 a tube for the good stuff, could you tell by looking? It all comes down to the details and trust. At RGS Exteriors, we only do things one way, the right way. We never cut corners. We never skimp on details. We never do less than the job requires. That's why we offer our industry's exclusive 10-year everything guarantee. And it's why we have the happiest customers. If you need any gutters, siding, or replacement windows, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or online at rgsutah.com.
Hey gang, it's Big Jim Smith. I am now retired and I'm a full-time radio listener, and I'm glad I am. I had a unique situation of not being able to refi my house because I'm not employed. Despite the fact that I have lots of income, I have tons of assets, overcoming some hurdles made it impossible to get things together with banks or credit unions. So I contacted a guy I heard about right here on the radio, Rick Kirchenbaum at Loans by Rick. Best phone call I've ever made. Rick and his team at Vintage Lending were able to help me overcome some incredible hurdles, how to verify my income, all the things I needed to do to get my refi together, and they got me more cash out of my house than I expected. Do it. If you have problems getting your financing together, call Loans by Rick. You can trust Rick Kirchenbaum, Loans by Rick, and Vintage Lending. He is NMLS number 241179. Call him directly at 801-809-7283. That's 801-809-7283. Tell him Big Jim sent you. Loans by Rick.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
When it comes to vaping, the truth.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Chaleos. City and county officials in Kirk County, Texas say the search for over 160 people still missing from last week's floods is methodical and involves hundreds of federal, state, and local responders. That includes a first responder nonprofit called Texar. Patrick Turk is the group's program director. He says it's difficult. So it's a difficult search operation because the area covers 48 miles long with big depths and a lot of debris. He says working with so many searchers has helped along the way.
Surprisingly, it's actually been pretty easy. There's a lot of people down here, a lot of different agencies, every federal agency, local, state, and everybody's working together really well. We have one main emergency operations center here in Kerrville. We do morning briefings at 6 a.m. Everybody's there. That's where we get our taskings, and also have the ability to kind of network with some other agencies and see what they're doing, what they're seeing, and how we can adjust our plan accordingly.
Lauren Tyler was on vacation in Hunt, Texas when the flash flooding came rushing through. She and her family and their home survived because they were on higher ground, but she's now left with the trauma of what they experienced. Tyler and her husband Ross wrote a song called Never Gets Old in April, but it's now going viral in the wake of the tragic Texas floods. Tyler explains what the family went through after the rain stopped.
We had gotten a text message from my dad's neighbor early in the morning saying there's 27 girls missing. Can you please help? Do you have anyone that can help? And so my husband and my brother packed up, trying to get down, but we were flooded in.
As the search continues in Texas for those still reported missing from last week's deadly flooding, attention is also turning to the health needs of survivors and first responders. Jay O'Rourke is the head of America's emergency response team, AmeriCares, which is helping to restore access to health services.
In the coming days, we're going to see more and more health needs emerge, from people who have lost their medications to displaced people who need access to hygiene kits and to other sort of essential supplies.
Also happening today, new questions surfacing regarding the warning delays when the floodwaters first began to rise. ABC News' Trevor Alt reports from Texas.
And the death toll is now up to 120 people, with more than 150 still missing, as search crews here on the ground are having to literally dig through feet of debris and mud that is piled up along the sides of the riverbanks. And this morning, there's also new scrutiny. We're going to play for you audio of what appears to be a delay in sending out a crucial warning to residents about these deadly floodwaters.
This morning, stunning new audio from the moment's deadly flash flooding started ripping through the Texas Hill Country, suggesting critical real-time delays in warning the most vulnerable communities. Our affiliate KSAT obtaining recordings of a first responder at 4:22 a.m. July 4th, asking an emergency alert be sent out to Kerr County residents, but the dispatcher was hesitant.
The Guadalupe Shoemaker sign is now underwater on Highway 39. Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
But that code red, which pushes an alert to cell phones, wasn't sent out for another 90 minutes. Some not until 10 a.m., too late for hundreds already underwater. The Joint Information Center for the Kerr County flood event responding in part. Our city and county leadership are committed to a transparent and full review of this response. But our entire focus since day one has been rescue and reunification. At an earlier press conference, the sheriff pressed on the delay.
Those questions are going to be answered. I believe those questions need to be answered to the family of the missed loved ones, to the public.
Rescue efforts are now into day 7, with more than 150 people still missing. Volunteers from all over the country combing through the aftermath. We saw this rescue team from Florida.
This is a close look at what these rescue teams are dealing with. The dog picked up a scent down here, but there's so much debris and mud piled up. Right now, these teams are using chainsaws to cut through some downed trees. They're trying to dig through in hopes of finding a person.
But after all that, they found no one. Jeeper Ragsdale took us inside what's left of Heart of the Hills Girls Camp.
I mean, this is just wreckage.
The office now gone. These cabins ripped away, only a door frame with girls' handprints left standing. Fortunately, the camp wasn't in session, but his sister Jane was an owner here for nearly 50 years.
She was genuinely one of the nicest people you could meet.
She called him at 3:30 a.m. The water was inside her house and rising, and she was trapped.
I was like, just get out of the house. But I do remember her telling me, she was like, it's already at the bed. I can't get out. I was like, break windows out. Just get out. And she did it.
Her home right there on the campground as they now rebuild.
The overarching theme about her is that she made people feel seen, feel heard, feel loved.
Just down the road is Camp Mystic, where so many young girls lost their lives. Among them, 8-year-old Virginia Wynn Naylor. Her family saying she had a great love of the outdoors, a love of God, and a love of her community. Jeff and Tanya Ramsey were also killed. They used their final moments warning their loved ones about the storm.
They were calling because they were trapped and they were scared and they were stuck, but they unintentionally saved our entire family.
And while officials say they're focused on rescue and reunification right now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has scheduled a special legislative session for later this month that will in part focus on improving warning systems for flood conditions like these.
That was ABC News' Trevor Ault, and President Trump is expected to visit the damaged hill country in Texas tomorrow. This is hard for many of us to imagine. KSL News Radio's news director, Becky Bruce, is with me right now. Your sister just recently went through this kind of flooding in Kentucky.
Yeah, and is actually still living with family members at the moment because housing has been a real problem. The thing that strikes me about the Texas situation is that the water there rose so fast. It rose about that much over a 24-hour period where my sister lived. And in Texas, 20 feet in 45 minutes, they said. So if you can imagine, my sister barely made it out in time with 24 hours in that kind of rise. And in Texas, they didn't have any kind of warning at all. It was the middle of the night. People were sound asleep. It's super scary. And I'll be honest, some of the federal response has been a little bit uncertain. Things have been delayed because there's uncertainty about whether funding will cover things. There's been long lines waiting for things like damage. It took my sister, I want to say, almost a month to get the money for her car to be replaced. So, yeah, it's a scary situation.
Still a long way for her to go.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Becky. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Maria Shaleo. Some of the stories we are watching this hour: motorcycle deaths driving towards a high that we haven't seen on Utah roads in nearly 15 years. Midway missed out on the 2002 Olympics, but they're not making that same mistake. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
We have a listener reporting construction causing delays. This is on I-215's West Belt at the 2100 North exit. Maria?
Our local stories in 1 minute, but first, the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. On the sidelines of the Asian Foreign Ministers Conference in Malaysia, Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with his Russian counterpart today about Russia's escalation of attacks in Ukraine and little or no progress made on ending the war.
I echoed what the president has said, both disappointment and frustration at the lack of progress in peace talks or in a path forward.
Rubio says the president is considering a Senate bipartisan bill to slap new sanctions on Russia. Crews continue to search for 160 listed missing in Texas nearly a week after catastrophic floods. Aid groups are also helping survivors and those displaced with basic needs and shelter. In New Mexico, officials say the deadly floods last weekend have killed 3 and destroyed hundreds of homes. The women's final is set for Saturday at Wimbledon. It follows an upset after American Amanda Anisimova beat out number 1 ranked Aryna Sabalenka in the semifinal. She'll go up against Iga Swiatek Saturday. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. The sky is a little hazy above the Salt Lake Valley today. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff explains.
Meteorologist Sam Weber with the National Weather Service says part of what we're seeing is smoke.
I think we're also seeing a little bit of dust kicked up from the surface here in the morning hours especially. It's what kind of noticed on my drive in is that things are looking pretty hazy down low. And
he says the smoke could stick around for a few days, but the dust should settle by the end of today or tomorrow. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
A squirrel is being blamed for a power outage in Taylorsville this morning that left 4,400 people without power. Rocky Mountain Power says the squirrel caused a fuse to blow out and fried a circuit breaker. Power to the area has since been restored. The new 32,000 square foot animal shelter in Davis County is already $2 million over budget before construction even begins. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
Rising construction costs and new tariffs are being blamed for the increased price tag for the planned shelter. Davis County's facility director, Lane Rose, tells KSL.com the only way to stay within the original $14 million price tag is to reduce the size of the shelter. Rose says they may have to leave parts of the building as a shell to be completed later when more money is available.
The county says an increased property tax is a possible solution to cover the price hike. Northrop Grumman is laying off about 100 employees from its launch and missile defense systems business in Utah. Company which often works with the military is a major employer in the area. Now, they say these layoffs are to better align their workforce with the current demand. To help minimize the fallout, they say they are looking at placing the impacted employees into other positions. Summit County is working to keep food waste out of the landfill. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Food waste is anything from banana peels to meat trimmings and even leftover pizza. Zero Food Waste and the Park City Community Foundation is teaming up to get more people on board with it, offering free pickup services for new customers for the rest of the year. Currently, food waste takes up nearly 50% of the space at the Summit County landfill. That food breaks down and produces methane, the second most common greenhouse gas. It also produces a liquid that could potentially affect groundwater supply.
Instead of rotting, the food waste is picked up by a recycling service and will be broken down in a controlled environment where the gas can be used as a renewable energy source and fertilizer can be produced. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 253 points, more than 0.5%, sitting at 44,711. S&P is up by 22 points, and the NASDAQ is up by 32 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. What's happening on the drive, Ricky?
Salt Lake County Freeway is looking good, slowing southbound I-15 going from Kaysville to Farmington in the work zone, and a stalled vehicle in Tooele County. It's blocking right lanes of travel southbound Main Street SR 36 at 10th North. Common Spirit Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures staying in the low 90s for the next few days, but up by Sunday, 97 degrees for a high on Wednesday of next week, up to 99. Right now, 84 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Imagine waking up every morning with a smile you're proud of. No more hiding, no more pain. Stubbs Dental Implant Center, Utah's Best of State winner for 3 years in a row, has helped thousands of people ditch the dentures and say goodbye to missing or broken teeth. Their expert team specializes in giving you a permanent, natural-looking smile with dental implants that feel and function just like real teeth. With over 2,000 five-star Google reviews, their patients say it best.
Dental implants gave me my life back. I feel confident again. I feel like I can be myself.
There was no way I was getting dentures. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been the best decision of my life.
Let the expert team at Stubbs Dental help you take the first step to changing your life with dental implants. Schedule your complimentary consultation today, a $350 value, absolutely free. Visit StubbsDental.com today. That's StubbsDental.com. StubbsDental.com.
I am not a rich woman, but I feel like a rich woman every time I go in my closet. The best, hands down, present I've ever received was my husband secretly redid my closet with Closets by Design. So now when I go in there aren't all these shoes just junked on the floor. They're neatly sitting on their shelves. And my necklaces are hanging on their individual hooks, and earrings are in their little squares in this soft drawer that pulls out. It's just gorgeous. In fact, he saw how much I loved it. He had Closets by Design redo the garage. So now all the stuff, the tools, the toys, the junk is all in cabinets. When you open our garage door, you see cars. That's it. It's amazing. The things that Closets by Design can do, and it's going to save you money right now because you get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off with 18-month financing. You can do so much with your closet, much more than you realize, with this wonderful Utah company, Closets by Design. Find out more at 1-800-BY-DESIGN or closetsbydesign.com.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. Deadly motorcycle crashes are becoming a major problem in our state. Several deadly crashes have occurred on Utah roads over the last few weeks, including one last night. Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden tells KSL News Radio's Adam Small that 2024 was actually our worst year for fatal motorcycle crashes in 15 years. Lieutenant Roden says, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to surpass those totals this year.
with motorcycles only accounting for about 3% of our motoring vehicles that are registered here in the state of Utah, but yet having the number of fatalities they account for are highly overrepresented. And this year is no better. In fact, we are going to set a record this year that we don't want to set, and that's the number of people killed in motorcycle crashes. So last July was a record-setting month where we had a crazy number of motorcycle fatalities, and we're following the same trend this year. So we desperately want to get this message out there, alerting people to really watch out for motorcycles, and motorcyclists to really take every step necessary to be safe while you're out there riding.
You're probably wondering why. Why have the last 2 years been so deadly? Lieutenant Roden says they think a few reasons are really contributing to the rise in deadly crashes.
We've been looking at the contributors, and there's a lot of people. We have an awesome state to go out and ride in, and so the popularity of motorcycles, whether there's a trend in that going up, but as far as looking at the specifics of why motorcycles are being involved in these type of crashes, we kind of split them into two different categories because they're pretty close to half and half. We've got just under 50% of our motorcycle fatalities are just a single rider that crashes and no other vehicles are involved. And that other half, a little over half, accounts for multiple vehicles involved in a crash. And when we look at just the single vehicle, no other riders or no other vehicles involved, a lot of those contributors are speed related. It can be alcohol and drug related. We are also seeing experience play a part of that, where you have a person who may not be experienced in riding a motorcycle or may not have the experience on a specific style of motorcycle. They either step up or to a different type of motorcycle and aren't familiar with it and crash. So that's that side. But when you start looking at other motor vehicles involved in these crashes, we're starting to see things like, failure to keep in your proper lane, where a motorcycle may be in a blind spot, or a motorcycle may actually change lanes and hit another vehicle. We're also seeing a lot of crashes at intersections where failure to yield.
What can you do to help lower that rising rate of death? Lieutenant Roden says it'll take more awareness and diligence from both vehicle drivers and motorcyclists.
For motorists, you need to do everything you can. Double check that blind spot before you change lanes, because you never know when that harder to see motorcycle could be right there off your back bumper. At an intersection, check twice, check 3 times if you need to, for a motorcycle that could be approaching the intersection. And sometimes gauging that motorcycle's distance from the intersection may be a little bit different than other vehicles, so really check for them. But for motorcyclists, get as much education as you can and experience on a bike as you can, but then wear the protective gear that's going to help keep you safe.
Lieutenant Roden says one of the biggest things motorists should do when around motorcycles is provide a lot of space. Give them as much room as possible. Midday with Maria Chaleos continues in just 60 seconds.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We're counting down the days left to the 2034 Olympics. Well, maybe not the days yet, but we are about 9 years away, and Utah cities don't want to miss out. In fact, in Midway, they're taking extra steps to make sure that they don't get left out of the Olympic celebrations like they did in 2002. I spoke to Midway Mayor Celeste Johnson to find out what they're planning to do this time that they didn't do last time.
We hope that Midway will actually be a fun part of the destination. So we are looking forward to hosting families and support the athletes with concerts on the square, with the fun aspect. So Soldier Hollow is literally Midway's backyard. And in fact, many people think it's part of Midway. And we're just right here. We're a charming, unique rural town with really beautiful restaurants and shopping experiences. And we want to welcome the world to Midway. In 2002, Midway was somewhat overlooked by Midway's choice. I want to make it very clear it wasn't a deliberate slight, but Midway was concerned. And those residents that I have talked to say, we don't want to do that again. We don't want to be bypassed. We want to be welcoming the world, and we want to have functions and events that bring people into Midway.
Right. Overlooked. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you feel that you were overlooked. But
again, I want to make it clear it was nobody's fault. Midway itself, the residents, the then mayor, were concerned about their tiny town being inundated. They were concerned. They didn't quite know what to expect. And as a result, all the parking happened on the south end of the valley, and people were shuttled up to Soldier Hollow and then shuttled back. And that completely bypasses Midway. And really back then, there were maybe only a few restaurants, very few little shops. Now we're a charming little town that I think people will want to experience.
Right. And as you said, you're just right there, right by Soldier Hollow.
Yes.
So talk about hosting athletes in homes and what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I know that the bid committee had to get some hard and fast numbers from the resorts. We have Homestead and Zermatt, and now Amiali is our third resort, and it's in the process of being built. It's partially built now and certainly will be completed in the next couple of years. Chances are the athletes will be housed in very specific types of quarters, but we have the bid committee has let us know that with the athletes come coaches, support staff, family members, and often it's very difficult for them to get housing. and we would like to be able to have our code and ordinances potentially adjusted just for a period of the Olympics, so that if families do have a second home up here and they want to rent it out to a family of an athlete or something, they could. Or if families have larger homes and they would host folks in their home at no cost, we would like to encourage that. Currently, our code doesn't really allow for that. We have very strict nightly rental zones. And so we would want to make that an option during the Olympics so that families, support staff, coaches, etc., will be able to find affordable housing during the Olympics.
What needs to happen between now and then to make these things happen?
We've been working towards some of these things already, just because we are a tourist town and people come to Midway and want to be able to have a full experience. And so our town square, we host concerts every Wednesday night on our town square that are free to our community and any visitors that may be in town. And as a result of that, we're realizing, we might need a few more bathrooms. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking at. What infrastructure can we support and what do we need to add to that? Our town square underwent a design about 5 years. I shouldn't say underwent. We hired a architectural firm to design our town square, and we have that design in place, and we're just slowly chipping away at it. One of the things that we'd like to do now that will help our community, but would also make for an excellent Olympic venue, is what we call an activity building. Currently, for our ice skating rink, we haul in a couple of trailers, like what you see on a construction site. That's their temporary office. That kind of thing gets hauled in. every year for our ice skating rink. We'd like an activity building that is permanent and charming and next to our ice skating rink that could then accommodate things for the Olympics, small parties, specific awards night celebrations, things like that.
That was Midway Mayor Celeste Johnson. After the break, more on the life and legacy of legendary jazz coach Frank Layden. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We've had a lot of slowdowns in the construction zone in Davis County, southbound I-15, starting after the Kaysville Ponds on the way to Park Lane in Farmington. Also, it looked like we had a little bit of trouble in traffic in Sandy, southbound I-15 after 90th South. Those vehicles have now pulled away, and the backups it caused are easing. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort, too, with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
My husband and I have been wrapping up a major landscaping project. We have been hauling decorative stone. We've been hauling mulch, big bags of these things. And before I lost weight with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, before I took off those 40 pounds, my back would have just been spasming. That was just a normal thing for me anytime I tried to do any sort of excessive work out in my yard. This program has made a huge difference. Not only do I look better, I feel a ton better, and it's an all-natural program. It's one of the reasons I selected it. I didn't have to worry about any sort of side effects, no injections or surgeries, just a simple combination of foods that help you burn your stored fat, and it works very quickly. Plus, they have a great app with great inspirational videos. They're just like a minute long that you just watch every morning, and great ideas to help you be successful and keep that weight off. Right now, you can save $200. You can find out more at slcfatloss.com, or you can call them 801-450-1882. Wouldn't it be great to lose up to a pound per day? That's what many of their clients lose. Go to slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
Whether you're building your $1 million dream home, giving your current home a facelift, or just trying to get it out of the minor leagues, Peach Windows and Doors brings the big league look.
Modern style, energy efficiency, clean lines, tough builds, and curb appeal that hits like a home run. Not sure what you need? No sweat. Peach has the coaching staff to get your home in the game. No pressure, no gimmicks, just solid game plans and pro-level results to help you knock it out of the park.
Come see for yourself big, beautiful windows that bring the outside in. Visit Peach Windows and Doors showroom, big enough to spark ideas, small enough to feel right at home. It's time to step up your game and make your house the MVP of the neighborhood. Why live in the minor leagues when you can swing like $1 million? Peach Windows and Doors, because real homes play like champions. Visit peachdoorsandwindows.com or call 801-566-1255 for your free consultation.
That's Peach Windows and Doors. Give them a call, 801-566-1255.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Capital Wealth Advisors, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the Capital Wealth Advisors team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 801-210-5500. That's 801-210-5500. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs From voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. So he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This is Midday with Maria Shilaos. Legendary Utah Jazz coach Frank Layden has passed away. He was 93 years old. Longtime Jazz fans will remember him not only for the legacy he left behind with the basketball team, but for his personality, humor, and wit. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has this in-depth look at his life.
Frank Layden, known for his big personality and love of life, was born in 1932 in Brooklyn, New York during the Depression. His mother died in childbirth, and he credits the neighborhood for raising him while his father worked long hours on the docks.
We lived through rationing. We lived through hardships.
In interviews over the years with KSL News Radio, KSL TV, and KSL.com, Layden's talked about growing up a huge baseball fan, even skipping school one day to watch Jackie Robinson play his first major league game. But it wasn't long before basketball became a center point for his life. He played for Niagara University, served in the military, then became a high school coach, college coach, and eventually an assistant coach in the NBA. In 1981, he was hired to be the general manager of an NBA team leaving New Orleans for a fresh start in Utah.
Sam Battistone, I'd like to thank him for his faith in me. And what I'm going to do is reward him by promising him and this organization to bring a World Championship team to Utah next year. Of course, it will be either the Celtics, the Lakers, but however.
Layden admitted joining a team moving to Utah was risky.
I said, Salt Lake City, you can move in here. There's nobody here. Who's going to come to your games? You can't support a big league team here. You got a crummy arena. He says, I know, that's why we're hiring you.
He says he never worried about losing his job with the Utah Jazz. He was just going to do the best he could.
Now, we've played very good. Very good. We're going to play better.
He says he also never worried about money. He doesn't even remember ever asking for a raise, and he embraced his role as the head of a small market team.
The upset, the chance of the underdog winning. Maybe the Jazz will win someday. It gives us all hope.
And the Jazz did start winning after Layden was named the head coach in 1981 while keeping his job as the general manager. Layden took the team to the playoffs for the first time in just 3 years under his leadership. He was named Coach of the Year, Executive of the Year, and coached in the 1984 All-Star Game.
Is this the best thing that's ever happened to you as far as your career?
No.
The most fun thing?
Well, no. My honeymoon was a lot of fun. All right. But next to that, it was good.
But just 1 year later, Jazz owner Sam Battistone was struggling to keep the team alive financially and was looking to sell, which meant the team could potentially leave Utah. That's when Larry H. Miller and his wife Gail stepped in, buying the team, promising to keep the team in Salt Lake City. And Frank Layden was one of their biggest supporters.
Such a key role in holding this franchise together just with sticks and glue for about a good part of 11 years.
Frank's legacy is assured in this state. I don't think he'll ever be forgotten. For those who didn't know who he was, I don't know that we'd be here without him.
Layden spent 8 years as the Jazz head coach before transitioning to team president and handing over the head coaching job to his assistant.
Today, the Jazz enter a new era as Coach Frank Layden steps down as head coach and turns the reins over to new head coach Jerry Sloan.
The Utah Jazz, in my mind, will always be recognized as Frank Layden's basketball team.
Layden did take up coaching again to lead the Utah Stars WNBA team in 1998. And in 1999, he finally retired from coaching and stepped down as the president of the Utah Jazz.
I love my job. I love the kids. I love
I love the game. I love the NBA.
But Layden never left Utah, spending his days involved with all sorts of events, appearing in commercials, and being active in the community.
Sometimes I wonder how I ever was so lucky.
Layden was tough on the court when he had to be, but former player Thurl Bailey also pointed out Coach Layden was a funny guy who knew not to take life too seriously.
He was just hilarious. Frank was just so good at not being too serious when he didn't need to, but getting down to brass tacks in business when it was time to play and it was time to win.
Layden was also quick to make a joke, often at his own expense.
People used to say the Jazz, one thing about them, they're always in great shape. Well, it was easy for me. Whenever I used to want to get them in shape, I'd make them take laps around me.
Developing a winning team eventually brought the fans, and he was instrumental in helping select draft picks, including Karl Malone and John Stockton.
You know, I would give tickets to homeless people, anybody, to have people look like they were in the arena. So we struggled through those years, and we got good. And when we got good, everybody jumped on board, and they haven't gotten off.
He says he doesn't have many regrets in life, but one is not being able to watch the Jazz win a championship while he was part of the organization. He also says he should have been nicer to the referees.
What a call! Start the clock!
He says one thing he did miss was spending more time with his kids when they were young. To make up for that, he dedicated his later years to spending as much time as possible with his grandkids and great-grandkids.
I've seen more girls soccer and softball games than I ever thought I would in my whole life, and I love it.
In 2019, Layden was honored with the Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award.
So this is probably the last award I'll ever receive, but you know, it's also the most important one, because first of all, my family could be here and could help to share it with me.
Layden was asked in 2022, after turning 90 years old, how he wants people to remember him. His answer, simple and to the point.
That he was a good guy, that's all.
It's safe to say he achieved that goal. Frank Layden was definitely a good guy.
An iconic
Randall Jepson,
figure.
KSL News Radio.
He led the team to their first 5 playoffs.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
ICE arrests continue around the country today. Here in Utah, who is being arrested?
New federal data shows that since mid-May, about 1/3 of ICE arrests in Utah involved immigrants with no criminal convictions or pending charges, up from just 5 to 10% earlier this spring.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, July 10th. It's midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. Coming up, we'll break down the numbers and see what it really means for those living and working in Utah. Also this hour,
this is Lincoln. They found him on the ground really cool.
A local 5-year-old just a few steps from being chosen as the National Wildlife Federation's next junior ranger. Stick around for this cute story. But first,
Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, stay.
The Salt Lake City Police Department is getting more than a dozen new officers from the academy, bringing them one step closer to being fully staffed again. A graduation ceremony held this morning at the Utah